G'day YouTube, Max right here, and this video was just going to be absolutely insane. I think it was going to be over 2 hours long, so I've had to split it up into two. Right now, we are going to do all of the questions and answers answering the questions that the members have asked. There's 178 comments. If they're all questions, my goodness, I'll be here for just 2 hours doing that. But before we do that, I have a big announcement to make in that we have two winners. I asked people to provide some testimonials. And I said I would give away $500 to one video testimonial that I like the most and one text testimonial that I like the most. So we have those now. So Natalie is our winner of the video testimonial. It's just a short one here. I'll play it real fast. Congratulations, Natalie. And here that is.
Hey Max, this is Natalie. I just wanted to give you a shout out about Success Council. I just wanted to tell you how much I love it and how much it has helped me grow as an investor, and also learning more about different areas that I did not know about, such as moving abroad and how to start out buying Bitcoin. One of my favorite interviews is about silver bullion, which I own, and now I'm starting to buy Bitcoin. Also, as a teacher, you are detail-oriented, thorough, you start at the beginning, you have levels for intermediate as well as advanced. I can't wait to continue to dive more into Success Council and learn as much as I can. Thank you, Max. You are life-changing.
So thank you for that, Natalie. I believe I got 4 video testimonials, and I really appreciate Natalie and everybody else who made one. I know it's not easy to make videos, but I really do appreciate. And then the text ones were just absolutely incredible. I chose this one. It's by Alb Codes, whoever you are. So Natalie and Alb Codes, please reach out to me. I will make sure I get you your prize. There were so many good text ones, but we'll just take a quick look at this one here from Alb Codes. It was, hey Max, first of all, I would like to thank you for your great market updates. I've been in blockchain crypto space for 4 years and can say with conviction that there are only a handful of people who know the market as well as you do. You really rock. I've also been a member of Success Council for a few years and can recommend this to everyone. Please go ahead and look forward to everything that may come. Also, macroeconomically, with all monetary policy issues such as the Fed, Corona, bailouts, and bail-ins, you have my greatest trust from all crypto experts. Thank you so much for that, Alb Codes. I really appreciate that. And everybody else who submitted testimonials. They just really were fantastic and humbling, and just I really, really do appreciate it. So let's get into the Q&A, because like I said, you can see here 178 comments. I'm going to be here for a while, so there's that to look forward to. Okay, so go ahead if you want to follow along. In the description of this video, you'll see a link to this video, Market Update Q&As, where you can find all of these questions. And then go ahead and click Sort By and choose Most Recent. And we're going to start with Frank. So, okay, Frank. Hi, Max. I'm a resident of Canada. I've been looking to relocate to another country. A few places I'm considering: Nicaragua, Belize, Acapulco, Puerto Vallarta. Have you visited or lived in any of these places? I would appreciate your insights. Thanks. I have not lived in any of them. I've been to Acapulco twice to Jeff Berwick's event. And I don't know, yeah, I was there. I was in Acapulco twice for like 3 days. So unfortunately, those places that you're considering, I have not been to them at all. So I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, Frank. Sharon, 1, what do you think about Shapeshift as an exchange? I've used Shapeshift as an exchange. I think it's a really good idea. It's a really good concept. I think the price you get is pretty reasonable. Just don't be fooled for a moment that it is anonymous. They do track your IP address. And I believe they even make you sign up for an account now, which they never used to make you do. But it's just not anonymous is all you need to know. But other than that, I think it's a fine exchange. Do you have any idea of how it would compare with Kraken, for example? So they're very, very different. I haven't used Shapeshift for about 2 years, but at the time, all you could do is, you couldn't set a limit order or a market order or a stop loss order or whatever. It was a very, very simple website. And it was just, you send them Bitcoin and instantaneously they'll send you back a coin that you want. Let's say you want to buy Ethereum. You just say, I'm going to send from this address. I want you to send my Ethereum to this address. You click go, you send the money. As soon as they get it, they send it back. And that was all. You couldn't do stop orders, minimum buys, none of that kind of stuff. So they're very different kinds of exchanges. What percentage of a person's assets would you recommend putting in cryptos? It took us 2 questions to get here. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer this once. I'm going to answer it thoroughly, and I'm going to get this question another 30 times, I bet. By the way, if you're new here, if you've just become a Success Council member, do yourself a big favor. In the Success Council members area, there's an area called Max Q&As, and there's only 3 Q&As to go with. Go ahead and watch those videos. When I announce the Q&As, in that video, I usually do a market update and answer the most frequently asked questions in that video. So the most frequently asked questions get answered, but in the video where you have to write your questions. And then in the other, so watch those at least, because they're going to answer your top 3, 4, 5 questions. They're in the members area. I think there's 3 of them so far. Everyone watch those because they're going to help. They're going to answer your questions a lot. This question gets asked 50 times every time I do a Q&A, and the answer is always the same. So I'll answer it again here once, and we'll skip over a lot, but you're going to get a lot of these questions answered if you check that out. So listen, I can't recommend this stuff, and there's too many things that are different. There's your risk appetite. There's what you're more comfortable with. Are you more comfortable with precious metals? Are you more comfortable with crypto? So I can't answer these questions for you. What percentage of this and that? All right, you have to do the research, you have to understand what you're getting, and don't get involved in anything you don't understand. If you're not so technically capable, maybe you don't get any crypto at all and you just do precious metals, and I understand that. So there's a lot of things that go on with you. I think a Bitcoin is more risky than gold, but I think the upside is more. So it all depends on your risk appetite. I cannot answer that question for you. With regards to gold and silver, I will say I'll always look at the gold-silver ratio. You just take the price of gold, divide it by the price of silver. And if I'm going to be buying precious metals, if the gold-silver ratio is over kind of 60, 50, I'm going to be buying silver. If the gold-silver ratios, maybe it gets down, if we ever do get down there again below kind of 35, 40, maybe I start considering buying gold. Maybe in between, I'm doing a little bit of both. But so that's how I decide with gold and silver. Once you get Bitcoin, for example, how does it work to actually use for purchasing something? Just don't use Bitcoin to purchase something. I know a lot of people will tell you otherwise. Just use cash and credit card and get the points on credit cards. It's just easier. So you don't need to buy it. Whenever, just hold it. It's going to be worth a lot more. It's just like buying stock. You don't try and buy groceries with your Apple stock. You don't. It's an investment. So just treat it the same. Or where would you recommend storing precious metals? Thank you. That's all in the members area, Sharon. Just I have a cheat sheet in there. And if you look in the gold and silver section, I think towards the bottom there's a cheat sheet, and it gives you different vaults all around the world that I recommend. Alexander, hey Max, thanks for everything you do. Question on BTC. Thoughts on if the recovery to 11,000 was a bull trap, or do you think we will still? Or do you think we will stable off there until the election? Lots of futures contracts, blah blah blah. Okay, so your question is what I think is going to happen with the Bitcoin price. So I answered this in this video, actually, the one I'm reading off, where you posted your question. I answered this, which is I believe Bitcoin along with everything else. This is not my analysis of Bitcoin. This is my analysis of the entire economy. There is going to be another big liquidity crisis, which means everything goes down. Crypto, stock market, real estate, precious metals, everything will get hit hard one more time. And then, right now, everything's in high correlation. And then I think you'll find Bitcoin and gold lead the way out. And then if they print a lot, then everything will do well. If they don't print a lot, then everything might suffer a little bit, but you'll see Bitcoin and gold outperform the other asset classes, I think. Having said that, if you do not have any Bitcoin yet, I would not wait too long. Even though I think there might be one more big pullback, if I didn't have any Bitcoin, I would definitely, and I had, let's say, $10,000 to invest, I'd probably buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin now, and I would leave $5,000 for that big pullback. But I would be scared to not have any Bitcoin at all right now. John, changes happen constantly, and being prepared for those changes can invoke a sort of personal flow. Success Council can and likely will help prepare you for those changes ahead. I think this is a testimonial. It is. Thank you, John, very kindly. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hi, Max. Completely new to crypto. Thanks for the trading videos. What do you think of Bittrex for buying BTC? I have no problem with Bittrex. I've used it in the past. Do you recommend any biotech stocks? No, I don't. There's no stocks that I recommend right now. And yeah, nothing wrong with Bittrex. I've used them before. 2 questions. What do you think are the long-term prospects of Bitcoin regarding their adoption of use of global commerce? Do you see a future where large companies such as Boeing or Maersk use Bitcoin to conduct business? And if so, when do you see this happening? Yeah, the long-term prospects of Bitcoin are amazing, and other cryptocurrencies, of course. I think that's just an absolute revolution in the world of in the monetary field, in monetary science, in the world of money. And so it's just the biggest thing to happen to the globe in 1,000 years. So yeah, it's going to be huge. Is there a future where Boeing and all these other companies use it? Absolutely. We've already seen companies. There was a company just like a few weeks ago. I forget their name. They had all this cash sitting around on their balance sheet. And what do they do with it? They just went and bought $400 million worth of Bitcoin. Just going to hold it. That's what they're doing with it. So you know, this is definitely happening and happening more. When do I see it happening? It's already happening. When does Boeing do it? I don't know. Probably 10 years from now, maybe. But this is it's going to happen. It's just going to happen more and more and more. And with Boeing, it's like turning a Titanic. We're getting Boeing to understand this. You got to get 70 people to sign off on this. So smaller companies will lead the way. How is it even possible that the Great Wealth Transfer didn't happen in the 2008 financial crisis? I'm scratching my head a bit. Yeah, it's a great question. So the reason it happened is that the Fed managed to convince everybody that they would do this one-time thing and drop interest rates to 0 and print all this money, and then they would be able to undo it all. They would be able to bring interest rates back up to a normal 5, 6, 7, 8%. They would be able to sell back all of the toxic assets that they bought. I guess now it's been revealed that that was unable to happen. Interest rates are at 0. The balance sheet is expanding, not shrinking. And so surely this time around, people won't be fooled by that fact. And as we go into a bigger crisis, I think there will be a run for the exits. Let's see. Hey Max, great video. Q1, gold bars, gold coins. It doesn't matter. There's no problem as long as you're paying for the metal. The purity of the metal doesn't matter. I think it's the Canadian maple that only has a 900 purity. And there might be some other coins with like a 900 purity. That's okay. Just do the math and make sure you're paying for the gold and you're not paying for gold prices for other kinds of metal. So I think it's the Canadian maple. If I'm wrong, forgive me. But the Canadian maple has 1 ounce of gold in it, but the coin weighs 1.1 ounce because it has about 0.1 of alloy in it. But it's no problem with having a little bit of alloy as long as you're not paying gold prices for it. Q2, if BTC reaches $100,000 or more, does it mean the dollar or euro will almost have no value? No, it does not. It won't mean that by definition. Not just $100,000. No, Bitcoin can reach $100,000 without anything happening to the dollar or euro. Troy, in your opinion, what would be a minimum safe bet? I can't answer that. What's a minimum safe bet? It depends on your position. Is your net worth $10 million or $50? There is no minimum safe bet. Sorry, Troy, I can't answer that type of question. Hi, I don't have a lot of money. Which Bitcoin is best to start out with? Can only afford about $1,000 Canadian. Need help with a starting point. Hi, Deborah. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's a great place to start. Yeah, I would go ahead and start with Bitcoin. Yep, good place to start. Nice safe bet, and I think it's going to do really well the next 12, 18 months. You said which Bitcoin? I don't understand. That part doesn't make sense. There's only one Bitcoin. Just Bitcoin. There's only one Bitcoin. Sorry. We're aware of many people selling off real estate investments to prepare for buying opportunities that are sure to follow the big crash. But what about property in Texas? We've heard it'll go up, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, I can't, listen, I'm not an expert in every little niche market ever in the world, so I can't tell you about Texas, and I'm sure there'll be questions down here. I'm from Sydney, what should I do? I can't tell you all these little different markets. We are aware that there's a lot of migration happening. People are leaving big cities and going and going to more rural areas, but rural might be strong, but smaller places like Nashville, places like Austin, places like Kansas City, stuff like that, they are seeing net inflows of people, whereas New York, Los Angeles, etc., are seeing people leaving. So those bigger cities are going to get hit worse. Also, we see people leaving liberal cities, Democrat-run cities. Austin would be an example of where they're going to, which is a liberal-run city as well. But generally, they're leaving liberal-run cities and they're heading towards Republican-run cities. If you're in the US, Austin would be an example of where that's not the case, which for me is a very good reason not to go to Austin. They're leaving, they created this liberal-run shithole in California, and then they're leaving to find another liberal-run shithole in Austin, which means they've learned nothing and they're going to continue to vote Democrat, and that Austin's just going to suck more and more and more as time goes on. So I wouldn't be going to Austin for that reason. I'm just getting into crypto, so which wallet exchange do you recommend me signing up for? So if you go into the Success Council members area and look at, there's a 2020 update video in the Bitcoin Starter Kit. Watch that video, it will answer that question for you. Hi Max, your info and videos are great. I'm considering taking cash down to my local gold shops to buy some physical metals. Also think of buying from silver bullion in Singapore that you have recommended. Should I do this ASAP? Same answer as I answered at the top of the show. I'm expecting one big crash, but I would be scared not to have anything, so you got to weigh up that risk. Outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, what would be your next top 2 altcoin buys right now? All right, I'll do a quick thing here. I was going to do this tomorrow, but this is the Bitcoin dominance graph, and it's in this downward trajectory. But what I predicted way back here is that Bitcoin would come down, kiss the bottom of this trend line, and then head back up to here. Now, in the meantime, we made there's another trend line it started observing with like 4 or 5 touches, and just in the last day, it has broken through here. And I think what's happened is it's bounced off here and it's headed on its way back up, broken that trend line. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get all the way up somewhere here with BTC dominance. So I would recommend staying in Bitcoin for the next few weeks. Let's see if that plays out. And then after that, Bitcoins that I really like, there's this little quiet creeper. It kind of hasn't been doing so well lately, but I really like EOS because I like the team and I like what they're doing. So I like EOS there in there. Another one I really do, what Chainlink is doing with the oracles, that's really cool too. And their price just got smashed lately, so I'm really excited. If I see a price get smashed like that, I'm like, now might be a good time to get in. But having said that, I think it's going to be a really good Bitcoin time for the next little bit. So let's stay there. The least expensive and safest place I have found to buy Bitcoin is Coinbase Pro. I then move them to Coinbase for a fee and store them in their vault, where I believe they are in cold storage and cannot be accessed for 2 days. Is this better or worse than a cold wallet, and which cold wallet would you recommend? Any more pullbacks in Bitcoin left below 10K? Okay, so that's cool. I didn't know that about Coinbase Pro and Coinbase cold storage. It's a really interesting service they're offering there. I don't know. I would like to see people take control of their own Bitcoin. Somebody else has the private keys, although what they're doing here is they're making it their whole business model, this part of the business, is making their whole business model to be cold storage. I like the fact that you can't get to it for 2 days. I think that's going to make it a lot harder for them to get hacked and lose the coins. But whenever you have these big institutions like Coinbase that has, okay, we're going to hold all your crypto in for you, there's now, billions of dollars of crypto in there. This is a really, really attractive thing for hackers to go after. If you have Bitcoin and you take the steps I told you, I think one of the best things is no one knows you have it. Don't tell anyone. And all of a sudden, you're not really a target. So something to consider there. But if you're not comfortable with the technology, then this might be a pretty good option. I've answered the question about where we'll go further lower before. Magnus. By the way, Magnus, I saw your testimonial and it was fantastic. I really appreciate it, so thank you for that. Would you consider starting a buy club for pre-ICO coins? They're at great discounts to get for future winners if we're a bunch of people going together with an investment, 50% discounts, for example, like a lot of these other guys are doing. I would be open to that. I might entertain an idea like that in 2021 when I think the altcoin season and ICO season will really go ballistic. Hi Max, I just learned that Kraken was granted a banking license. What are your thoughts regarding this? Is it beneficial or just another way to tax and track your money? No, I think it's a really cool thing. So a little bit of news here. Kraken got a banking license in, I think it is Wisconsin. The fact that they're in Wisconsin is not super important because they will be an online bank. So you can go and, I'm not sure if they have it just yet. They got the license. Whether or not they've implemented it for the customers, I'm not sure. But you'll be able to get a Kraken bank account. Now, this is what's very interesting about the Kraken banks is that it is not going to fractionally reserve bank. It is not going to lend money out. It's not going to do any of those things. So you should have 100% of your money there. It could be a very, very safe banking option. And so there'll be no bail-ins at a bank that has 100% reserves. So it's going to be cool. It's going to make it a lot easier for a lot more people to get involved in crypto. And I'm really excited that Kraken has done that. And there may be in the future a way where, hey Kraken, can you please hold my Bitcoin and I want to borrow money against the Bitcoin and I can go and buy a house or a boat or go on holidays. And so I leave the Bitcoin with them as security and I can go and borrow that money. So, and use that money. So I'm still invested in Bitcoin and I've just borrowed the money. So that's a pretty exciting thing that's happened with Bitcoin, and I'm going to see how that happens in the next few months and years. I think it's going to be cool. Max, what's your opinion on Shell? Shell has always been around 25 pounds. Shell, what is Shell? It's a share, as in the company, Shell? Sorry, yeah, I don't know about Shell. I wouldn't be buying any stocks right now, if that's what that is. I'm using Coinbase, my exchange. It does not show my cost basis or how much each specific coin has increased or decreased from its purchase price, like I'm used to with my stock trading account. Can you suggest an exchange? You know what? Hold that thought. I'm not sure about an exchange that does that, but you can. I know you can't see what I'm doing, so my apologies. I'm just looking something up for y'all. Did that do what I wanted it to do? Okay, cointracking.com. Go to a site called cointracking.com and you can actually link that up to all of the exchanges that you're subscribed to, and they pull your data and do exactly what you're asking for you. It's also a really good calm tax time. So I hope that helps. Right on point. Do you think that purchasing Mercury dimes make a good investment for silver? Yeah, I think that's a great investment. I have a little bit of that. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin IRAs? So yeah, if you want to use your retirement funds to buy Bitcoin, that's no problem at all. In the members area, you'll see there's, I think I introduced you to guys called Regal Assets, and they will help you set up a self-managed retirement vehicle for free. That's something I've negotiated with them. And then you can use that to buy precious metals or Bitcoin or other things. So check that out. Lotus Fairy, I saw your testimonial too. It was extremely good and lovely, and I loved hearing your story. Thank you so much. Hi Max, have you heard of the app Edge? Yes, I have, which is a wallet and exchange both in one place. Any thoughts on it? It uses the company Wire to link your bank account to the transaction. It charges 1% commission. Is that a reasonable charge compared to most other places? It is reasonable. I think it's a little bit high, but it's not completely out of line. And I haven't used it yet, but it seems like a cool thing, and I haven't heard anything negative about it. Bitcoin price next year if there is not a major bank failure. We'll get over $100,000 next year. I'm pretty confident of that without any bank failures. If you had shares in Treasury Wines that have gone from here to here, would you sell? Yeah, I'd sell all shares. I don't want to be involved in the share market at all. What is your #1 platform to buy BTC and wallet to safely keep your Bitcoin? Okay, well, I wouldn't keep my Bitcoin on a platform, but I use Kraken and Coinbase. I think they're both great options to buy your Bitcoin. I just get them out of there and hold it on your Trezor or Ledger. What are your thoughts about junior and other gold and silver mining companies, royalty companies? I don't get involved in the mining space. I don't have anything against it as a principle. I just don't happen to do it. How would you defend or profit from the coming election correction besides keeping cash? Have crypto and PM metals. Would you buy VIX? No. Any of the short ETF or go long on the. I wouldn't do any of those things, but that's only because it's not my world. All of those ideas sound reasonable. I've thought about them. I've made a lot of money in a lot of different niches. I've never made money on the stock market. I mean, nothing worth bragging about. And so every now and again, I'm just like, oh, should I throw a little bit of money at that? I'm expecting that could be really good, and then I get to brag, oh, I made 7 figures on the stock market too. And these kinds of ideas are where my mind goes. I haven't pulled the trigger on any of them yet, but these kinds of plays are absolutely a potential windfall if you get them right. So they're all reasonable ideas. You mentioned counterparty risk for Bitcoin IRA. Isn't they moot given we already have the IRA? So listen, I don't know. I don't know what iTrust is, and I don't know exactly how you're using. To me, IRA is a type of was it trust or retirement vehicle? I don't have it, and so you can how you set that up is you can do it many different ways. So it all depend on about how you set it up. My friend is a Belgian citizen with money. He doesn't want to use it for stocks or real estate. I suggest to take 50% of each amount and putting it in cryptos and metals. What do you suggest? You know where I think is it going to be good. I think Bitcoin, metals are a great option. Caveat, I think we got one more big pullback. When markets tank and people rush initially to the USD for safety and it gets its bump, how best to be in the USD at that time? Any specific fund or method? I would just keep it as cash. That's all I'm doing. If there's better ways to do it, I don't know them. So I just keep it in cash in my bank. And if I can get it into the Kraken bank and it's not a fractional reserve bank, then I would definitely be open to that. And yeah, because I'm not expecting to hold it in cash for very long. When that crash comes, as soon as I sense that bottom, I'll be jumping into crypto, more metals. Is buying Bitcoins from an individual safe compared to buying from an exchange? And can you purchase Bitcoins with credit on a credit card? So I'm not sure about the credit card option. I haven't used local Bitcoins for a while. Using local Bitcoins, if you buy from an individual, it's not as safe as an exchange, but it is quite safe, especially if they have a really good rating. They've got 9,000, 10,000 transactions, and all 100% positive. They're looking pretty good. Now, you used to be able to connect with someone and meet with them physically and just give them cash in hand, and they would give you the Bitcoin. That could be there were some instances where people got robbed. They'd show up, the guy never had the Bitcoin, just robbed them and took their cash. But that was a very, very small sample of people. The vast majority of those transactions went through quite well, and I had done them in the past. It was a good way to anonymously buy Bitcoins. I don't think local Bitcoins does that anymore, and I'm not sure if they allow you to take credit card. Hey Max, love your content. Will you be putting money in the DeFi markets like Compound or something similar, and do you think these will survive a big crash? I don't know about the survival. I will be participating in the DeFi markets. I think it's an exciting space. I'm not there yet. And they, I think there'll definitely be some things that go belly up when there is a big crash. Because so often these things are designed to work in most use cases. And then these fringe use cases, like a big 20, 30, 40, 50% drop in Bitcoin in like a day, and Ethereum and all these other things that sort of revolve around this network. And can they survive? I don't know. You might see some of them fall apart. I agree 100%. Bitcoin will be at a bargain. Buy when everything else starts to come down. I believe also before the election, because the elite wants to displace Trump so they can carry on their socialist agenda. Of course, create a prison planet. Yes. We've got to get to a question here, my friend. No, we just need to wake up. Okay, no question. Great video, Max. I appreciate your insight on crypto and other worldly happenings. You have made some amazing calls. This looks like a testimonial. Brian, thank you so much. I will read them, by the way. If I skip over them, I'm not ignoring them. I'll come back and read them and probably use them in my marketing, but I just don't want everyone to have to listen to it as I read them. Hi, Max. I'm interested in investing some money in hopes to turn it into our yearly income eventually. Oh, yep. I think that's another testimonial or statement. No question. We've got some question marks here. Okay, I like to see question marks. Hey Max, cheers from Japan. Curious point keeps gnawing at me. BTC is usually quoted in USD, and if USD hyperinflates, then it's meaningless. $500,000 may be a case of yes. Your thoughts on this? If supposing hyperinflation, blah, blah, blah. Your thoughts on hyperinflation. So, yeah, if a particular currency goes down, yeah, when I make the prediction of $500,000 of Bitcoin, that's assuming no hyperinflation and not even any inflation at all, really. But can there be hyperinflation? There can, but it doesn't change anything. So I wouldn't worry about it. If there's hyperinflation in US dollars and not Japanese yen, then there'll be some, the price will go up 1,000,000 times in dollars and only 100 times in Japanese yen. Yeah, that's true, but it all balances out and is accounted for. No big deal. Hi Max, how safe are our coins and fiat currencies whilst they are being held on trading platforms? Can governments legally interfere and seize or confiscate our assets if they wanted to? How do you suggest we protect them? Yes, they're look, on the big exchanges like Kraken and Coinbase, I think they're pretty darn safe. Yes, governments can seize them and they can get stolen and all things can happen. So how do you protect them is you don't give it to them. So you put them on there, you can buy your coins, trade, and then get them off. Alcodes, this is our testimonial winner. Thank you so much. In your past videos, you repeatedly mentioned the story with the bail-in of Cyprus. Do you know anything about the expropriation of bank safe deposits, boxes, and vaults? I do not, with regards to Cyprus anyway. It is about whether private key seeds in bank vaults are in danger. Yeah, I would definitely not be putting private keys in a bank vault. In a private vault, but not a bank vault. Yeah, so I hope you guys appreciate that. Is it safe to keep my Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Coinbase rather than transferring it to Trezor? I would transfer it to Trezor. I like watching my portfolio graphs and tracks. That is fun, granted. I don't see the current value when I move them from Coinbase. Please let me know if Coinbase... Actually, I'm pretty sure your Trezor... Well, here's what you do. You just want to watch that stuff grow. If you're taking them off the thing, that means you're not trading them, so your portfolio is managed. What I would do is I have an app I'm not going to show you. It's called CoinCap. CoinCap on your phone. You can just download it on your phone. It's a CoinCap, and you can just enter in. You put, I have 27 Bitcoins. I have 50 Ethereum coins. I have 10 Chainlink coins, and then it just fetches and you can check your graphs every single day, and it'll tell you the exact value, and you can have that full experience without putting your coins at risk. Neil or Neely, thanks Max. What is your opinion on Ripple? I haven't looked at it in years, but I don't really like Ripple. And I happen to be in a trade right now for shorting Ripple, which is going quite well. Do you predict Ripple to grow that much to the level? No, I'm not, philosophically, I'm not in line with the Ripple experiment. So I don't really follow it. If there is another crash, won't the premiums on physical and silver go higher? Yes, they always do during a crash. And if the price will still be similar after the crash, doesn't it make sense to buy now rather than wait? Yeah, in the world of gold and silver, that's absolutely reasonable. Usually when there's a crash, the premiums for physical skyrocket with gold and silver. That's not so in Bitcoin. There's no such argument to not wait for the crash in Bitcoin. But in precious metals, there is an argument. And you can get delivery quickly. Right now, I think right now, most people you can deliver in like 2-3 days. But in March, when the shit hit the fan, delivery was like 10-12 weeks for most of the dealers. So, and there was a premium for physical. So yes, that is all valid points. Hi Max, can you please explain as a libertarian how Trump can be the most libertarian president when he's increased the federal deficits as well as the military budgets each year? He's called for the Fed to do this, that's okay. Just a Trump-hated question, which is cool. I get it. I'm totally okay with it. So yeah, he's done a whole bunch of things, and there's the TikTok thing. So look, generally with regards to free markets, Trump is a believer in free markets as a general rule. With regards to tariffs, he doesn't want to put tariffs on. He doesn't want a high tariff situation. He used it as a stick what happened is there's this president who showed up and cared about the American people, and so he had to deal with world leaders. And he's like, okay, step one, let's fix trade. And they're like, no, we're just going to wait around until the next loser comes because you seem really tough. And he's like, nope, you're not sitting around. Put stupid tariffs on you. Deal with me now, or we leave stupid high tariffs on. I destroy your economy for the next 8 years. He knew it hurt us as well. He knew it hurt America. That's why he didn't do it with everyone. He didn't fight the EU just yet. He wanted to get Canada, Mexico done. He wanted to get China done. And so it was a phased strategy. He used the tariff as a stick, but he's not a high tariff guy on that front. He massively reduced regulation, tried to get government the hell out of the way as much as possible, and more so than any other president by a lot. Reduced taxes, although relatively meaningless because of the deficit spending. And I think he inherited a country that was like $2 or $3 trillion behind in infrastructure repayments. Bridges, railroads, etc. had been left to go to pot and needed to get redone. So he had that big bill in front of him. Same with the military. He wanted a strong military, which is, I agree with the idea. And so there was big deficits on the military spending. But after those two things, I think he would have changed things a lot. He would have got a lot more wealth. He would have got a lot more employment. He would have, once people were off welfare, I'm pretty confident he would have slashed welfare programs because it wouldn't have affected so many people because a lot of people would have had jobs. And then this Corona thing happened and completely stalled it. So we never got to see phase 2, 3, and 4 of his administration. So yeah, look, I'll leave it at that. It's compared to other people, I think he's very libertarian. GB, 1, can I just confirm that next year you'll give us a good signal to exit the market? Yes, you are fully responsible, but yes, I'll share with you when I'm going to sell. That's what I'll say. Would you also be giving an exit signal for gold and silver? Yeah. If I'm going to sell either of those two things, I will be more than happy to share it with you guys. You mentioned that Bitcoin might have one more big drop. Do you think it will be before or after the election? I think it will be before the election. If not, I think the election will cause it. If, let's say, people are not happy with the result and go riot, yeah, people are predicting a massive run-up end of this year. Would love to hear your thoughts. Predicting a massive run-up end of this year. I think you're talking about the stock market there. Yeah, I know. I think there'll be another pullback before the election. I've said that before. Hi Max. So you suggest holding the Bitcoin we already have and buy the next possible big dip crash? Yes. And what about Ethereum? Yeah, same. What percentage-wise? I can't tell you percentage-wise. You gotta decide this for yourself. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to do really well the next year or two. I think you're going to be fine. Ethereum's possibly a little more exciting, but it's coming into a growth challenge, and this gas fees are going up, so it might not be now the right minute to go Ethereum. But having said that, I believe in November, Ethereum, like a big upgrade comes out for Ethereum, which may solve those problems. I'm not sure, which would be very, very bullish for Ethereum. Should we go for silver bars or coins? What's the secret to not getting ripped off? Because most of these places are buying around 20% less than their selling price. There's no secret to getting ripped off. They're providing value and providing a service to you, these coin shops, etc., and they need to make margin, and this is how they make it. Generally, their margins are very tight, though. Most coin shops in my areas, their margins are 2, 3, 5%. Stephen Miller. So I'm buying gold and silver coins currently. I'm in the UK. UK coins have no capital gains tax on the back end. That's good. So that's reasoning for buying UK coins. Hope I'm right on that. When I'm buying coins as a new investor and not familiar with special higher premium coins, should I just stick to basic gold and silver? Yeah, the higher premium coins are called numismatics, and I wouldn't bother with them. That's like collectibles and stuff. Now, Gold Eagles, Krugerrands, and Canadian Maples, and what are they? The Harmonics and the Austrian ones. They all have slight premiums. Those are manageable premiums. I can live with those, but not rare coins because the date's wrong or something. Not that kind of rare coin. Yeah. I'm purely buying metals for investment. Thanks, Mac. No worries, Stephen. It's a good investment. For someone with no exposure to precious metals at present, do you think it's a good time to buy gold and silver? Yep, answered that question. Good question, James. I answered that question at the top of the show. I'm in Vienna, speaking of harmonics, and have here in Volt PM and also precious metals, goldsilver.com in Volt in Singapore. Do you recommend to switch to the precious metals from Vienna to Singapore? Yeah, so, hi Elizabeth. You're asking a jurisdiction question, and I'm not that familiar with Vienna. Vienna is Austria, right? Austria, yeah, Austria. I've been there many times. Sorry, I'm forgetting. So anyway, you're asking about Austria and the EU versus Singapore. Well, I would hedge. I'd have a bit in both. I would have a bit in both. So that's my answer on that. I have metals here. I have metals in Asia. Actually, I don't have metals in Europe anymore, and I have metals in Australia. There's a company you recommend to use for transferring 401k into BTC and PMs. Should I wait or make this move ASAP? So for transferring 401k into, yeah, that's a timing question, and yes, so same answer as before. I'm expecting a dip, but if you don't have, I would go ahead and get everything. You can go ahead and get everything set up with Regal Assets and get all the paperwork done. It takes a few weeks, and then you'll be good to go. And thank you for the kind words. Hello, Max. What is the story with BSV? Should I only buy BTC? Yeah, only buy BTC. Don't worry about BSV. When you trade cryptos, is it CFDs or, for example, real Bitcoins? The leverage can be high. Yeah, I only buy real Bitcoins, Magnus. But if you're just trading, then yeah, there's other instruments and leverage. You can do it. So trading is different to investing. And so when I invest, I'm buying Bitcoins. If you want to trade, that's a different animal. And you can apply leverage and do all the fun things. I would be very, very confident in that when you do that. Although, yeah, we'll leave it there. When the next market crash arrives and Bitcoin fall maybe 50%, will there be any Bitcoin to buy? Yeah, by definition. If the price fell by 50%, there'll be more selling than buying. So there'll be plenty of Bitcoin to buy. Oh, excuse me, got a sneeze coming. Okay. Like $100,000 USD, any other crypto to buy if Bitcoin can't be bought? Bitcoin can always be bought. Don't worry, there's no such thing as running out of Bitcoin. If the price skyrockets, you just can't buy as much of it, but there's always Bitcoin to buy. Do you think it is possible at all? Sorry, Magnus, just on that, it's like saying, what if the price of Apple stock goes up and we run out of Apple stock to buy? It just doesn't. There's always Apple stock to buy. It's just, yeah, it's just I have to pay a higher price. Do you think it is possible at all that we will see no crash and no hyperinflation? Yeah, it's absolutely a possibility. So this is from a German trader, apparently. At this point, I deliberately do not mention low interest rates or quantitative easing. As we have learned over the last 12 years, neither of these need to trigger inflation, even if this is hard to accept for some hobby economists. In the end, central banks only ever provide capital, whether it is called that or another name. It is not the ECB or the Fed that will trigger the next big bull market in gold and silver. It will be government money, your taxes, that will drive investors out of fiat currencies and into tangible assets. So, yeah, there's every opportunity here, Nicholas, for deflation or inflation. I've got a bunch of videos on this YouTube channel about that. Oh, I'm losing circulation in my legs. Hang on, let me move my legs around a little bit. But I think it's pretty unlikely because there will be a massive deflationary event first, which is kind of what I've been talking about, this one big more hit. But I think the Fed will respond with more money printing, and I think you will eventually see this transfer. It's like people are watching, okay, I can be in cash and not get no interest rates are zero. I'm watching them just print it out of thin air. They're bragging about it, how they're going to save the economy. And I could go and jump into Bitcoin or precious metals, which can't be printed, and I'm still getting no yield. And you'll see this exodus. People will be like, what's the point? What's the point of being around something where they're printing it all the time when I can have something super scarce? So, however, if they don't do the printing and they just let the deflation happen, then everything could get hit like quite well. And the best place to be in that situation would have been dollars the whole time. But I think the chances of them doing that are pretty slim. I mentioned Mind Movies here, which is fun. So Mind Movies is actually a company I started and sold for 7 figures many years ago. And he's just commenting that he recognized me from videos years and years and years ago. So that's kind of fun. You mentioned that turmoil in the United States would get PM and Bitcoin prices going, but how would the US turmoil affect assets in countries like Australia? Would they move the same way, or would they move in a way to counterbalancing what's happening in the US? So I presume you're talking about election turmoil or like BLM turmoil, because that's the kind of turmoil that is not getting reflected elsewhere in the world. All the other turmoil is getting reflected in the world. So usually because America are the biggest consumers in the world, when something happens to us, we stop buying, everyone's economy hurts. Is usually how it goes, by the way. Hi Max, can you please explain the process of shorting a stock? You mentioned that you shorted Ripple, and as an absolute newbie to the world. So yeah, quick little heads up on what shorting is. So you know that you can buy low and sell high. Well, shorting allows you to sell high and buy low, and you make the exact same amount of money. It's just when the market's going up, you buy, and then you sell, and you made money. When the market's going down, you sell something which you do not have, and the market price goes down, and then you have to buy it back at some point in the future so that because you never had it, so you have to buy it back, it comes down, and then you buy it. So as the market's going down, you can sell 10 Bitcoin, even though you don't have any Bitcoin. The market goes down, you have to buy it at some point to close that position, and you buy 10 Bitcoin. But you sold at a high price, you bought at a low price, you just did it in reverse order. Now, in order to do that for you, what's happening is, in order to sell the Bitcoin, or whatever, you can do it with stock or whatever. In order to sell the Bitcoin or Ripple, you have to give them security. So if I want to sell $1,000 worth of Ripple, I got to give them probably maybe, let's say, $2,000 worth of cash or Bitcoin or anything. And then if the trade moves against me, I've sold low, the price starts going up, what they're going to do is they're going to liquidate my position so that they don't lose money. So they use that security to let you gamble and sell something which you do not own. That is shorting. Hi Max, thanks for your great work and genuine responses to all of the questions. A few videos ago, you had drawn the analogy that the Fed is the whale and all other markets in it are small fish. I've been noticing that and see that the stock markets closely follow the Fed. Yes. My questions. I feel like I've seen a very strong correlation between stock market and Bitcoin. You are correct, so have I. Can you provide an insight in this observation is correct and the possible reasons? Yeah, it's because the Fed is just playing. If the Fed's going to print money, it just goes into the economy somewhere, and people have to go and buy stuff because you don't want to be in the asset that they're printing, because it's by definition getting devalued. So you go buy stocks, you go buy Bitcoin, gold and silver. We have everything has a market correlation right now. Everything is moving together. The only thing that's moving different is the dollar index. Whatever it does the opposite. If one is correct, by what principle will Bitcoin break away from the correlation when that crash comes? Good question. So, when the currency breaks, right? So if the currency breaks, I should say more accurately, if the dollar starts getting devalued, then what's that? When the dollar goes down in value, means everything else is going up because everything is going into everywhere relatively equally. But what I am predicting is that people will more and more in a greater way, they will move towards Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and precious metals compared to what they have been doing in the past and other asset classes. The reason being is that yields, so when you buy something, you buy stock or whatever, you're just betting on the price going up. But with stock or real estate, you get cash flow from it. But if there's problems with the economy and that cash flow seizes up and stops flowing, now the main reason to be in real estate or stocks compared to Bitcoin and precious metals goes away. And these asset classes look much more likely to move forward than others. Is Ethereum a better bet than Bitcoin for higher growth? Just wondering. I think generally, look, I'm excited by Ethereum, and I might move into Ethereum here. I think we might be coming into an Ethereum season. Ethereum has, look, Bitcoin's established itself as Bitcoin Gold. It is a market leader. It's the tits. Ethereum is a market, and I would say it doesn't even have a competitor. Ethereum is a market leader, but has many competitors. So there's a little bit higher risk to Ethereum. But I think the playground it's playing in is even bigger and more valuable. So there's more upside, there's more downside to Ethereum. I have 35 to 40% of my Bitcoin allotted investment in holdings now, and the rest I keep aside as liquid for the bargain price scenario. So assuming it was you, would you keep that strategy? Yes, I would wait. I would wait a little bit. I think there's, yeah, as I mentioned, another big crash coming in. Hi Max, great info. Question, what possibilities are there currently to buy Bitcoin anonymously? You just got to find someone. By the way, this is a great question. I got a lot of subscribers here. Does anybody else know anywhere where you can buy Bitcoin anonymously? There is an exchange called Phemex, Phemex.com. It's not the best exchange with all the cool features, but for small amounts, you can, I think less than $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, you can buy and sell and withdraw without doing any KYC AML. So you can just make up an email address and go ahead and trade at Phemex. So that is, if with small amounts you can do it there, but if you wire the money, you're still not in and out. You can trade between crypto there, but I don't think you can wire the money anonymously. And so if anybody else has any solutions, please comment about that and let me know. And other than that, if you just got to find other Bitcoin people, other traders people, get on chat boards and message boards and other bits and pieces like that. But it should be someone you know and trust. Don't send them anything without getting something in return. And so there's a little bit of trust there, and it makes it difficult. So it's getting more and more difficult to buy these things anonymously for sure. I have BTC and F. How much percentage would you recommend to sell before the next crash? Wow, that's the inverse question. Listen, I can't answer the question. It's about your comfort levels and what other assets do you have. Is this 100% of your investment, or is this zero, like 1% of your total net worth? So there's that. Personal trainer. Do you think we will go into a global depression, not just a recession? So yes, I think there will be a global depression. Also, what DeFi moonshots or altcoins? I haven't gotten any at the moment. Look, I'm going to get into DeFi and altcoins either later this year or early next year. And I just haven't got the time to give it the attention I would like to just yet. I think this is regarding my Ripple trade. I'm actually winning on my Ripple trade because it was a short sale. So the price of Ripple is going down, yes, but I make money when it goes down because it's a short sale. I explained that just a little bit earlier if you feel like you need some help there. Hello, Max. Kiyosaki's son had, who's Kiyosaki? Is in Rich Dad Poor Dad Kiyosaki? They're giving me a link. I could check it out. Has doubts about 100K Bitcoin. Yeah, I'll watch that later. I'm not going to do that during this thing. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to open that so I don't lose it. Hi Max, do you recommend a crypto app for buying cryptocurrency? No, I don't use apps. I just do it on my desktop, and exchanges I use But Kraken and Coinbase both have apps, so you can use those if you want. Hello Max, if I understand correctly, let me just, I just have to check something by the way. I'm still recording, you can still see me, life is good. Okay. If I had to redo this, I might blow my brains out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I should have had lunch before I started, and now I'm hungry, and now I'm hangry. Where are we? Hello, Max. If I understand correctly, much of the success of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is because of the blockchain technology. So does that mean we should focus some of our energy and investment dollars on companies promoting, developing, and integrating blockchain technology into their infrastructure, just as much as we invest in cryptocurrencies? No, Keith, I wouldn't worry about that too much at all. Don't worry about it. If all markets will be down after the election, is it advisable? So there's a little bit of catch here. If Trump wins, there'll be a huge relief for the market. If Biden wins, everything will shit the bed immediately. If Trump wins, there'll be a little bit of euphoria on the markets from that side. My concern is that we don't get a result on election night. That's my concern. And people do not accept the results of the election. So just to be clear on that, is it advisable to move money from the stock market to gold right now, assuming gold? You got to decide all this stuff. There's a lot of things going on. And so I'm going to do a big market update video tomorrow, by the way. This video just would have been too long if I tried to jam it all in one. Hi Max, like many Americans, most of my wealth is tied up in 401k. How would you think about the following? Moving the funds to a company like Regal Assets to be invested in Bitcoin. So to be clear, Regal Assets helps you set up a self-managed fund. And then you manage your own fund, and then you can buy precious metals through them and do other things. So you're not moving your funds to them, just to be clear. I believe. I think I'm technically correct there. Okay. 2, withdrawing all funds, paying the taxes. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Keeping at least a portion, as is, invested in the US market. Yeah, I wouldn't be investing in the US stock market, but that's me. Combo of 1, 2, and 3. Well, yeah, I mean, just for the sake of diversity, I might leave some in there, but I would be mostly cash. So yeah, Bitcoin still, I mean, yeah, you use Regal Assets, you have a self-managed fund, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. There are some steps you have to jump through, but you can do whatever you want. And I would be, yeah, you know what I would be. Precious metals, crypto, Bitcoin, and some cash. Hi Max, how do you think the dollar will go, i.e. Australian dollar 73 cents against the US dollar, up or down, and when? Will it ever get back to 80, 90 cents? I haven't thought about the Australian dollar for a long time. I don't know. That's too much for me. To answer that, I've got to understand China, because the Australian dollar is so much dependent on China, on the Chinese economy. And what's the Chinese economy going to do here? Is it going to win the race to the bottom, or is America going to win the race to the bottom? I don't know. That's too much. Sorry, I couldn't be more help, Andrew. How do you purchase Bitcoin? I don't understand. Assuming you're a Success Council member. So by the way, for about an hour or two, this video was not unlisted, which means there may be some questions here from people who are not members. So if you are a member, you get to the Success Council area. There's a 2020 update in the Bitcoin Starter Kit. You can watch that video. Australians and Americans are chased all over the world for tax, even if they make it offshore. Aussie here, 37% capital gain every time you change, convert, trade, swap a coin. I know you're not tax financial investment. Here's stories. Can I still? Okay, listen. So this is a login question. If you haven't logged in or something, just email all spelled out successcouncil.com successcouncil.com @gmail. So yeah, @gmail.com. Successcouncil.com, all spelled out, @gmail.com. They'll fix up the passwords, no problem. With regards to taxes, yeah, so Aussie, the cool thing about Aussie is if you want to leave, you can just leave, and you don't pay Australian taxes anymore. If you want to pay, you got to pay Australian. If you want to stay, you got to pay Australian taxes. So there's no way around that. And is capital gains really 37% now? When I left 10 years ago, it was long-term capital gains was 25%. That was quite disgusting. And for Americans, it's very, very hard to get away from taxation here. But moving to Puerto Rico does it. But then you got to spend at least 6 months boots on the ground in Puerto Rico. But if that's worth it to you, you can do that. So hold off on purchasing more Bitcoin. Answered that. Should I just consider Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? Just Bitcoin for now. Hi Max, thank you for the video and thank you for keeping your members up to date with great content. I love the work. Confident with crypto for the long haul. I feel there is a home for my money now while the crisis is being played out. Now, I would like to add some speculative crypto trades. How do I determine which coins are ready to explode and zoom straight up? The billion-dollar question. What platform are you using to do your technical analysis? Tradingview.com. I'm getting tired. That was a brain fart. Tradingview.com. Which exchange do you trade in? I mean, Kraken primarily. I would love to learn what you look for and how you get it. I'm going to teach you all that in the Success Council members area. Yeah. with regards to trading, I don't. You asked my question here. What good coins do I want to trade? I don't give a damn. I trade coins I've never heard of. If I'm trading, I'm just looking at the charts, and I'll teach you what I do when I look at the charts. And I actually prefer to trade coins I've never heard of because then I don't get stuck in my head thinking I know something. Like, you never know anything more than the market. You never do. Thinking you know something more than the market just gets you in trouble. So I prefer to trade coins that I've never heard of and don't know anything about. Thanks for the video update. What do you think of DeFi and SushiSwap and blah, blah, blah? I'll get into DeFi and all that stuff later, like in late this year, early next year. I've been following you for 2 years now. Totally respect your opinion, and your BTC calls have been historically accurate. Well done. I see you're calling for this. Others are suggesting a longer cycle. Can you explain your reasons? Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm not buying the longer cycle argument. I think more likely we'll get a reduced cycle. If the argument holds, then I think we'll get a, how do I describe that? If you look at the logarithmic chart of Bitcoin over time, it looks like that. It looks like it's flattening to a degree. So people are saying that each new cycle will get a little bit longer. I'm not buying that. Each new cycle might go up in price a little bit. I think the first cycle went up 100x, the next cycle went up 50x, something along those lines. So maybe this one only goes up 30x or something like that. I'm not buying the shorter time frame because the thing that triggers the cycle is the Bitcoin halving, and it's not getting any shorter. Those periods are set. So I'm not buying that. Hi Max, love your content. How do you find altcoin to trade? If I'm trading them, I couldn't care less what they are. I just trade them. When is the best time to buy or sell crypto? I just don't understand. When is the best time to buy or sell crypto? Yeah, I can't answer that. Hello, Max. Hi from Melbourne, Australia. Questions are similar to others. If you have cash and are holding on buying until the crash happens, how do you transfer the crash to buy Bitcoin if the banks are closed? Okay, so, well, if the banks are closed, you're too late. You won't be able to get your cash. So if the banks close, you won't be able to do that. So if you think banks closing is a genuine concern, don't wait until then. Hi Max, do you think real estate will drop in the Toronto region? I have no idea. By the way, I do have some physical gold, silver, and some Bitcoin. Great. Yeah, I'm sorry to be dismissive. There's just so many questions I have to be through. I can't answer about the Toronto market and the Texas market and the Australian market. I'm not an expert in all these things. G'day from West Australia. Please excuse my ignorance. Although, what's the safest way to purchase crypto? In the members area, go to the Bitcoin Starter Kit. Watch the 2020 update. What is your view of the Celsius? I don't know anything about Celsius and Tether Gold. Any gold-backed cryptocurrency is complete nonsense. Is that what Celsius is? The same thing, judging by this? No, gold-backed cryptocurrencies are worthless. Don't waste your time. To minimize tax, opening a Singapore bank account and corporation has been suggested. What are your thoughts on that? What do you recommend for tax minimization? How do you go about it? That's just a monster question. I don't have absolutely no idea what jurisdiction you're in, Judy. So I can't possibly answer that question. That's a question to discuss with an accountant. Odds on a significant pullback in cryptos before or around the election. Would there be a time to send out a notification? To sell? No, I'm not gonna. This is your notification. I think it's going to happen before the election. To buy when it's down, yeah, I'll be making videos when it crashes and letting you know when I think is a good time to jump in. If a bank bail-in is coming, any recommendations for cash or equivalents other than precious metals and cryptos? No, that's all I got. I've made a Coinbase account, and every time I try to buy a Bitcoin, it says account restricted. They've got excellent support. Ask Coinbase; they can help solve that question. And if you can't get it resolved, try Kraken. Try Kraken.com. Also, I'm not familiar about how to get involved in the Bitcoin. Check Bitcoin Starter Kit 2020 update. Everything you need. Hi Max, I'd like to get involved with Bitcoin and your paid subscription. Yes, so yeah, become a member and it's easily done. The answers to all those questions are in there. I have serious doubts about a so-called crypto expert that still calls XRP Ripple, okay, and does not know where or how to buy or store Monero as per his last Q&A. Be careful. Okay, warning from Carlos. Hi Max, was this the other crypto you were talking about aside from Bitcoin? Ethereum. Yeah, I think ethereum.org is the Ethereum site. But go to coinbase.com. Sorry, don't go to Coinbase. Go to coinmarketcap.com, click on Ethereum, click on website, and it'll take you to their homepage. In your video with investment tracking software do you use? I use TradingView, tradingview.com. Okay. Do you see a retracement of Bitcoin to 6K? Could it be that big? Yeah, it could be that big. It could definitely be that big. I watched your wealth transfer video. Great questions. PM, is Bullion Vault one of the ones you approve of? I've heard of them. I haven't vetted them fully, but I've heard good things about them. Or would you suggest another one of those who live outside the USA? There are others that I recommend, and you can find those in the cheat sheet in the members area. How do you hold fiat correctly to protect against bail-ins? That's in the members area, looking for cash. In the cash section, there's only 2 or 3 videos. I think it's the one labeled 10x your returns, so you can get like 5% interest holding it in a very safe way. What's your cutoff point for getting rid of fiat? I don't understand that question. Also, how do you hold fiat correctly to enable utility, the purchase of assets? At present, I still have most of my fiat in the bank. For example, no, I don't hold it in Tether or other stable coins to purchase Bitcoin. No, I would just wire my money from my bank to Kraken when I'm ready to roll. Any other examples of holding fiat correctly to purchase Bitcoin? No, you can't. You can try Tether and other things. I have nothing against them. I just don't use them is all I'm saying. Max, can you share your thoughts on the Singapore dollar? No, I cannot, I'm afraid. I just not following the Singapore dollar at all. What platform? TradingView. Hi Max, what are your thoughts? I never heard of them. Hi Max, thanks for the update. Looking forward to the future course on altcoins. Great. Question, I'm a beginner investor with no skin in the game. Should I hold out for the next crash? I would put about half in right now. Totally agree with the election chaos because of the potential of voter fraud on the Democrat side, and wondering if you think there will be much movement in Bitcoin because of the US elections and why. I'm not sure, Todd. I'm not sure. So I'll have to check. I'm sorry, I got distracted with the phone call. Todd, I can't help you with that. Yeah, well, I've shared my thoughts on what I think is going to happen with the election. What's going to happen to the Bitcoin price as a result of what I have shared on that? Yeah, I've also mentioned the probabilities. If there's no result, I think everything's going to get jacked up. All markets are going to get hurt. Hi, my name is Dave. How and where can I get Bitcoins? Kraken, Coinbase. I want to buy Monero. Your thoughts? I've got nothing against it. I just haven't spent too much time investigating it is all. Other than I know one of the creators and one of the coders who built it. There's an interview in the members area with him about Monero. So I have a hunt for that. I think is it in the members area? I think it is. Anyways, moving on. If you have a small amount of money, let's say 1,500 Singapore dollars, what is the best crypto for me? The amount of money you have makes no difference about what crypto you should buy. And should I invest in precious metals now? Okay, I answered all these questions. What are your picks for those miracle coins for the next run? Okay, answered that. Last Q&A, you mentioned 30% this. What is a more aggressive asset allocation? More Bitcoin, less cash. What's your asset allocation mix, and any reason why we shouldn't follow your mix? Yes, you'd have a different risk appetite. You have a different situation. You have a different number of people depending on you, all these kinds of things. If allocated to crypto and 40% of So this is back to those same things. Like, I can't tell you what percentages to buy of your own things. You have to check that out yourself. Kraken gets banking license. Does that mean the start of more regulation? It doesn't really have any effect on the regulation of crypto. If I got to a point that government started confiscating gold, I'm thinking that it makes sense when buying some of your precious metals that won't be put in a vault to buy them with OTC and with cash. I agree completely, Maggie. Good, strong strategy. This doesn't look like it's unlisted. Yes, I did make a mistake for about an hour or two. It was unlisted. My apologies. And I'm paying for it with some questions that are from not members. If your 9-6 seminar, you said crypto and metals are strong for a year and the dollar strong for a short time. What is your short time? I don't know. It'll be less than a year though. It could be weeks, could be less than a year, something like that. When do you recommend investing the $5,000 in Bitcoin to make $100,000? So now-ish, with the exception of I'm predicting another big crash. Hey Max, so glad I found you via the Dollar Vigilante. Fairly new to crypto, so playing catch up. Looking at a risk before the next crash and thinking Tron. Your thoughts? I haven't looked at Tron, haven't looked at alts. How do you think a Fed coin will be introduced? Everything is always slow adoption. It doesn't matter because it's just completely irrelevant. The Fed coin is the biggest yawn ever. And it's going to have near zero impact on Bitcoin. With the idea of a market crash before or on election day, would you go ahead and sell? So yeah, you can do that if you want. But I wouldn't have none of those things in case I was wrong and the prices run. Could the quality is high quality video? So his question about quality video, the video quality. The YouTube has high quality video. If it showed you the 480p, it was because you did not have a good connection at that time. Where are you on silver and gold mining stocks? I don't look at them. Moving on. I have a nagging feeling as well, hence I want to keep, what percent would you put in now? 50-50, something like that. But it just depends on what you think you're going to do. I can't make these decisions for you. Hi Max, can you share your thoughts on binary options brokers? What are the upsides and downsides to investing in crypto in this way? Just don't, because you're banking on, there's this middleman that you're getting involved in for no reason. You've got this amazing potential investment, I think, in Bitcoin, and you can just go and hold Bitcoin, have the private keys, have no third parties, and I think it's the best way to go. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are your thoughts and predictions on the whole Crack Monero initiative? So for those of you who don't know, the IRS gave out a bounty, and I believe $600,000 to try and crack Monero to help the IRS make it less anonymous. So that was rather interesting. I'll be curious to see if it works. And it will be, but yeah, we'll just have to see if that works. If the stock market crashes around the election timeframe, how long do you think it will last before things turn around and cryptos and precious metals start going back up? Hang on, I gotta be close here. Sorry, let me read that again. If the stock market crashes around the election timeframe, how long do you think it will take before things start going back up? Okay, time frames. 2 to 3 months is when I'm expecting that to happen. Around 2 to 3 months after. Yes, Max, I have a question. Has anyone really been far, even as decided to use, even go want to do look more like? I'm sorry, Dylan. Either I read that poorly and I'm really tired, or that makes no sense. Trump was the last USA president, okay? In the trading course, will you cover how to do put and stop losses? Puts, no. Stop losses, yes. I will cover that. What is your favorite movie? Oh, that is the end. What is your favorite movie? I love, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting is one of my fave. The one I quote the most is Wedding Crashers because it's gold. So Wedding Crashers is my favorite comedy, and Good Will Hunting is my favorite drama. Do you think we will repeat 2008 election dump this year because market dropped once we went through recession? And how will it impact Bitcoin? I'm not sure if I think to the degree, yeah. So anyway, yes, I will. And yes, it will hit all of the markets. Could it go down to 6K? Yes, it could. What do you think of Theta? I haven't looked at it yet. What are your thoughts of Bitcoin Cash? I sold all mine. Hey, Max. Okay, guys. So my apologies. I just should have eaten. I'm not actually tired. I just should have eaten. and I made a mistake and this video was unlisted for a little bit. So I got a lot of questions from people who were not members. And when you go to ask your questions, guys, make sure you check to see if someone else asked that question. And if they did, don't ask it. And I'm not sure if I was tired, but really double check and make sure that your writing is accurate and like grammatically correct. It could have been that your questions were fine and I was just like hungry and it wasn't working for me, but I really struggled reading those questions. So please be cautious of that. So guys, I love you. Take care. In the next day or two, I'm gonna have a big market update video, and it was just too big to put in this video. So everyone take care, and I will see you tomorrow or the next day. See you soon.